Welcome to Beyond Flow. My name is Tammy and this is Maria. We're your hosts and we're excited to be here with you today. Today's an interesting subject and a fun subject for us. One of the reasons that we decided to pursue this channel was because we had so many customers asking us to restart classes and events in the store. And we thought this would be a new way to do that, to bring information and a new platform. So we're going to go for it. And one of the big things that we're always asked about is crystals. What are they and how do we work with them? So let's get to it. Let's talk about that.
So one of the questions that people ask a lot is, so what are crystals and what are they not? Like what, you know, because a lot of people think, okay, well, they're crystals, you know, is it like a fat?
Is it a rock?
Something? Is it a rock? Is it, and how can you create or co-create something with stones? So I guess the first question will be, what are crystals?
What are they? So let's go to Judy Hall, premier expert on crystals. She spent her life understanding them, measuring them, and teaching the world really what the energy is that they hold and how we can work with it, how we can help our lives. So this is from her book, The Crystal Bible. And she talks about crystal vibration, and she says this: they're miniature storehouses born as the earth solidified. Crystals record the development of the earth over millions of years. They metamorphosed as the planet itself changed. We might think of them as the earth's DNA or a mineral blueprint of evolution. Whatever form they take, the crystalline structure of these stones absorbs, conserves, focuses, and emits energy. So
how do we translate all of that into just the regular person that wants to understand crystals, their vibration, their color, even where they come from? Which we'll get to that a little bit, you know, as we talk about it, because there are some crystals and there are other things that you can connect to. But for now, so how can we translate what you just said into a more simple way?
You know, it's like they are a vibration, and we have to realize that we're a vibration, that they are living beings, we are living beings, the trees are living beings, plants are living beings. We're all made up of sacred geometry. So if we go from the science perspective, crystals are sacred geometry. Their structure, their DNA is just like that of any other living being. So connecting with that just means, okay, if I stand in front of a crystal and I'm attracted to a color, a texture, a shape, that alone is giving you a communication that is available to tap into. So we can hold a crystal and literally shift our vibration. There's an understanding that the body as a system has chakras. These are energy centers on the body that sit on the spine. And it's kind of like thinking, if our life force energy is flowing through our body with ease and unblocked, our body functions. Our every aspect of our life begins to fall into place, or can be blocked. And we can see that manifest in areas of our life where things get out of whack, right? So crystals help support those energy centers for sure.
So it's almost, I would say that, like if we don't go too much into the rational part of, because you can connect to a crystal, you can connect to a candle, you can connect. It's a tool to then help us in our space, whether it's your home, whether it's your office, whether it's in your car. And it makes me think of, it's not coincidence that, what do they put in the queen's head, right? Like, she has the crown is crystals.
Right.
And the high priest, the breastplate, that, by the way, that he always wore, the high priest wore the breastplate, which had 12 different crystals based on the 12 different tribes, but it was in the heart. So it led me to the understanding that no matter, we always have to go to the heart. You always have to go, whether you're going through something, that crystals aren't magic. That it's not something that you're going to, the crystal is going to do something for me,
right? So
which that leads me to, when a person comes and says, I want a crystal to attract my soulmate, or I'm going through, I want my boyfriend to come back to me. And they go get, is it a crystal? So they go get a rose quartz, and then they come back and say, I got the rose quartz, and he left me, or he actually blocked me. Or so how can you interpret when you go through something that you're getting a crystal for, and it actually creates almost like the opposite of what we, in our limited understanding.
Well, right. And if we think about it, we are all here sort of figuring this life out. We're trying to figure out what's happening.
It's a mystery,
right?
No matter what.
What are we doing? What am I supposed to be with this person? Am I supposed to have that job? Am I, and so sometimes I think the support that we have, the energetic support, doesn't necessarily give us what we think we want in that moment, because that breakup possibly is the best thing that could have ever happened to the person, right? They don't know it in the moment, and they want to bring that person back, and they want to light a candle to draw them in, or carry a crystal that magically makes them zombie back to them. But is that really the answer? Are you co-creating the highest and best life for yourself by manipulating, by taking away free will? No, and that's not a crystal's job. That's not what we're here to understand. Crystals help us balance our life, balance our energy vibrationally. They help us get back into alignment with our soul. That's kind of why we encourage people to carry crystals, and put them in their house, to meditate with them, exactly, to realign themselves, and focus in certain areas, so that you can energetically be in the perfect place for attracting that boyfriend or that new job. So it's definitely not about forcing something, because everything that's really meant to be should be a little smoother, a little calmer, a little more flowing, right?
Right.
So we don't want to force it. So it's not about the crystal creating some spell. It's not. It doesn't work like that.
I understand.
Yeah.
So, is there any crystal that, because I'm sure that when people are watching this, you can get so much, and I always say this because it's true, you can get so much information these days, but from your own experience, which I think that is the most powerful thing that we can do, is to experience. It's like when they say, you it's not enough to believe in God, you have to experience God. And that's where solitude takes place, meditation takes place. So do you, in your experience, if someone, let's say, is going through a breakup, or they're going through, which is what the majority, not a majority, but it's a lot of people were going through a lot, and so if someone is going through a heartbreak, or they want to attract their soulmate, let's say, what crystals, and we can go through different types of crystals, like to attract abundance, to attract your soulmate, to for healing. So for soulmates, to attract your soulmate, which crystals do you think would you recommend? Or if you can just talk a little bit about
the soulmate energy certainly is, I think a lot of people think about soulmates and think about romance, like a romantic partner, right? And we have to also understand that soulmates aren't always that. Soulmates can be siblings, they can be parents and children, they can be best friends. Soulmate is really a union of souls that likely have known each other for many lifetimes and have committed to help each other elevate consciousness, to transform, to work on the things that we were meant to work on and support that. So soulmates are not always the perfect romantic relationships. However, drawing in that soul that is in the right vibration to be your romantic partner, your life partner. Rhodochrosite and rose quartz always come to us because rose quartz, it is a crystal that is all about unconditional love. It's divine love. It's like an elevated love. That's why rose quartz can be so soothing when you're going through grief, you're going through sadness. Rose quartz is like the arms of a mother hugging you, the divine mother hugging you. So it's an unconditional love energy. Couple that with rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite is a crystal that is about selfless love, a love that isn't about what I'm receiving. It's a love that is something that I am not going to hold and constrict. And it's also a crystal that supports compassion, being compassionate to others and feeling that compassion, which is very important in a strong, lasting relationship. We have to have compassion. So I think those two crystals work really well in drawing that energy in, and we can talk more about that. But what I like to do with crystals is amplify the energy. So a clear quartz coming into that mix is a great energy to amplify that vibration, increase that vibration, sending that vibration out, So
I want to add that these sets, and I want to say that they were channeled by you, or divine inspiration, but I know that some of these sets came to you. It's not something that we read or that we Google and put together, but it's something that came to you as a tool. So, okay, and is there a difference, like if you put them in a certain place in your home, or is it the same if you put, let's say, that combination of crystals that you mentioned, somewhere in your home, or if you wear it, or is there a difference between?
Well, I think when you're putting crystals in your home, you're sending that vibration, out into the entire space. So typically those crystals are going to be bigger pieces that can radiate a larger distance. When you carry a crystal, so that's oftentimes what's called a tumbled crystal, which are the little ones that you can carry in your pocket or put in your desk close by, or put them next to your bed. A lot of people like to do that. Because they're small, they radiate a small distance. So the energy is not going to shoot out far. It's going to be something held close to you. So that is then how we move into wearing crystals. So when you're wearing a crystal, it's touching your skin. It sits on the meridians of the body. The crystal energy can flow through you, connecting with you physically. And that's probably one of the strongest ways to infuse that energy into you and with you all the time. If you have them on all day, you're literally requesting that energy to be with you all day long, and almost infusing that into your body and shifting your own vibration. So wearing it can be super significant. And I think that wearing crystals can be an energy that each individual measures. How many crystals are they comfortable wearing? I like to wear lots of crystals, but I also know there's certain times that I need to wear something different, than something else, just based on how I've become attuned to them and feel them. And others can say, wow, if I just wear one crystal, it's enough. And I just want to focus on one at a time, which is amazing. Everyone's so different.
Right. So I guess this is where your intuition is also part of the equation.
And your own guidance system.
Yeah, your own guidance system. And when you said, you like to wear a lot of crystals, I saw that maybe just for the sake of explaining, so that's a Moldavite.
This one.
Yes. So what is the difference? And by the way, I'm asking a lot of questions because I know this is when I say your area of expertise, you're very passionate about crystals. Yeah. I mean, I am too. I love, going to the shows and choosing the crystals myself. And I think there's a connection that happens. I guess it's the same thing that happens when people come to the store and they choose the crystals. Mm-hmm. It's the same process that I go through
when we're at a show.
When we go to the show, and you stand in front of a crystal and it's like you either feel it or you don't, and so that's where consciousness comes. So I wanted to ask, since I saw the Moldavite, what do you think it's the difference between a crystal and a meteorite when it comes to the not just the science of it, but the purpose of them?
So the Moldavite it's a meteorite, and it was a meteorite. It came from space, right? It came from the cosmos.
So it already comes from
a higher vibration, from a cosmic energy.
Got it.
And, in a nutshell, basically Moldavite landed and melted. It landed in Germany originally, and
Isn't it Russia?
It ends in Russia, but it lands in Germany, and
Wow.
it flows through the river and deposits in the Czech Republic.
Oh my God! Wow.
And then solidifies. And in that solidification, gathers an earthly aspect to it, and now there's mines, and they're very protected, and Moldavite's a whole thing. But the point of it is that it is millions of years old, and it is a vibration from the cosmos versus crystals that are coming from the earth. These are a more grounded energy that's coming from this physical plane, this planet. And so the difference has a lot to do with how they vibrate. Moldavite is a very strong vibration that relates a lot to the heart chakra. And we use Moldavite to connect with an ascension energy. It's very strong. It can cause you to sweat. It can cause you to have heart palpitations. Because the energy really is that present. And I always tell people, if you're going to wear Moldavite or work with Moldavite,
they almost be prepared to what?
Yeah, understand that it's certainly something to get used to. It's a couple hours at a time, and then put it down. Don't overwhelm your system. Take it off, put it on. Take it off, get comfortable with it. I know I wear Moldavite at certain times, and I know sometimes when I shouldn't wear it, because if I'm wearing it and I'm constantly nervous and constantly anxious, no, it's not the right time. But I also know that Moldavite is a connection to an energy of ascension. So spiritually speaking, when you are ready to elevate consciousness to a new level,
it's almost like something has to break.
Yeah, you're committing to that. So when you're committing to that and you're saying, I want to elevate, I'm ready for a new level, what does that do to everything around you? Potentially not everything that's in your life in that moment is intended to elevate with you. So sometimes dramatic things seem to happen, right? Like we talked about, breakups happen, changes in job happen, certain expectations of something shift. But that is only in that connection to elevating you to a higher place and trusting that process. And always when you will discover when that evolution happens, that all those things that shifted are exactly in the place they need to be, and so are you. And those things are going to function even better because of that shift. But you have to be ready for that shift.
Got it. Okay, well, that is that I didn't know about the that it landed in Germany, and
yeah,
so that's a good explanation of, you know, how it got here, and then how can we use the energy of do you think there's a difference between, or, you know, like if someone comes, I want to buy a crystal for someone, do you think it's the same if the person chooses a crystal for themselves, or if I'm going to choose a crystal for somebody? Do you think that there is a difference? Does it make a difference? Or
so I definitely think that you can buy crystals for someone as a gift. You know, with consciousness, you're choosing something that it's like you want to put yourself into their consciousness to choose the crystals for what will serve them best. And crystals are a gift. Crystals are all love. That's one thing that I think is important. Crystals don't have a negative aspect to them. There is nothing that a crystal can provide energetically that's going to cause harm or be a negative vibration or lower vibration. That's not true. So gifting them is always love. But I think when you are the one choosing the crystal, when you're standing in front of the crystals, and you get out of your head and the intellectual aspect of it, and you feel them, and you give yourself the chance to see what you're attracted to, it's amazing to watch people step back and let go of the control, and they will find themselves walking around the store, and they'll see something, they'll go all over looking at a whole bunch of things, and then they'll come back and go, wait, didn't I see that before? And they'll come back to the same one over and over. And it could be in a different form because there's big, small jewelry, and it's oftentimes the same crystal. So this is the sign that that's the one that's speaking to you. That's the one that's attracting you. So let's delve into then what that crystal is and what it signifies. And I've never seen it happen where a person goes, oh, I don't want that.
And also, I mean, it's also where that person is in their path.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Where they're at. Yeah. It's like sometimes people come in and say, well, I'm a Virgo. What crystals are good for me? Okay. Well, we can talk about that. And we certainly do have crystal sets that work for the astrological signs based on the planet. So for Virgo would be based on the planet Mercury. But is every Virgo in the same place in their life, in the same circumstance? Absolutely not. Every person is going through things in their own way based on their life. And so I always still say, let's not intellectualize choosing the crystal. Let's let you feel.
It's almost like the crystal also meets you where you are.
It's like the guru and the teacher. Your guru and your teacher are going to meet you where you're at. Not everyone's in the same place to understand the spiritual teachings. So your teacher meets you where you're at. Yes. And crystals do the same thing. They meet you where you're at.
Well, that's a great analogy, and the reason behind that also is to not just for crystals, because we can talk about crystals all day, and you know, there's so many, the world of crystals is like infinite.
Yeah.
But I think that it's also to always go back to our life. Our purpose in this life is to transform. The purpose of, and everyone transformed, everybody is going to go through their own transformation in their own way. Yeah. So there's no wrong way, and everybody's in a different place in their transformation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I think that it's important to also go to that place of, yes, the crystals are amazing, and yes, the spiritual tools that we have physical tools to help us. That's just like prayer. It's another tool, but not to never forget the importance of then going within. That if you're going through and this is not something that is not related to crystals, because like I said, I think they are, I mean, you cannot look at a crystal. I mean, we're gonna show a few of them in a little bit, but for me, it's always so, like I tell people when they come to the store, sometimes there's nothing in the store that, for me, in that moment, that I would say it's gonna help. Sometimes what it takes is for the person to go and meditate, to go home and pray, to go to a tree and hug the tree. Mm-hmm. It's not just a physical tool that it's going to
be the answer to everything.
Right.
It's not magic.
Right.
That's the thing. Go back to that. They're not magic. They're not creating the answer to your problems. They're just helping you. They're healing. Right.
And I think that if one message can be always so significant for this platform or Beyond Flow, is to always remember that the most important tool that we have, it's our heart. That to always go to the heart. That if you're going through a loss, that if you're going through a healing journey, or if you're going through a heartbreak, and just know that you have everything. Number one is that you have everything within you to heal, to go through the heartbreak from that place of oneness with God, and then everything else, they're just become tools that are given to us by, number one, by God, and then the earth.
Yeah.
And I remember I read once, and I love this concept of that. There's angels. They're actually beings. There's beings inside crystals.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about the Lemurian crystal, and I know that they are a lot of crystals, if not all of them, hold codes. So this is a crystal that I think I'm fascinated by it, because this is how it comes from the earth.
Yeah.
The shape.
This is a big Lemurian point.
The barcodes. And so one of the ways that we want to connect to, so the Lemurian, I know it's come from the Lemurian civilization. So we connect. It's very good to meditate holding one, because they hold codes.
Yeah, codes.
They have codes.
Information. The consciousness of the Lemurian civilization, before they left this realm and moved on to a different one, still helpful and supportive of humanity, but they imbued their wisdom inside the Lemurian. And the codes, you can literally see the lines. And in connection to meditating with the Lemurian, you can connect with karmic healing, past life healing, things that you have a hard time understanding in life, because sometimes they have to do with our past lives. Sometimes they have to do with previous unconscious things that we're not aware of. We can reconnect to that vibration and that healing and transform it and leave it to not carry with us.
So I have a question. It's not a controversial question, but I know that it has happened, not a lot of times, but let's say you talk about the Lemurian and you talk about the codes and all of this, and someone says, well, that's just folklore, like that's just, is it real? I mean, how do you know these things? I personally, when that was asked, we were given the explanation of what the Lemurian crystals, and the person was, I don't know, sarcastic or, just whatever, these people, I don't know, that's probably, you probably read that somewhere. And the truth is that we never know. That is something that we don't know anything, right? But what I know, it's what I feel.
Yeah.
And that's when you go into meditation and you have, maybe not in that particular moment, but 2 weeks after, you have a a divine inspiration, or you have a realization that it's personal. It doesn't have to be, I don't have to be in front of a camera and saying, you know, my aha moments and my awakenings. But so to me, what I would probably say is that whether you believe in something or not, the consciousness and your attention and the intention that you have is what matters the most. And you know, and for you, I wanted to ask, like, when someone says, well, is that, how do you know? How do you, like, how do we know? You know, how do we know that these are such amazing tools? And there's no way a person can stand in front of a crystal and not be in awe.
That's it. It's just like asking, how do you know if God is real? If, you know, how do you know all of these?
It's like a personal experience.
These subjects that are not especially tangible or especially seen with the naked eye. We already have to realize that we are blind. The seeing of the truth of who we are is not in our taste, touch, smell, physical senses. Our physical senses confuse us and they block us.
And it's illusion. It's complete illusion.
It's a movie. This whole existence is a movie. And so the vibration that's held is far more real to me than the majority of things that I see, because the things that I physically see are so different than what they present themselves to be, and we all see things differently anyway. So if we can attune ourselves to be a little bit more in touch with the vibration and the energies, I think we can elevate ourselves much quicker.
It's almost like we have to remember the spark, the spark that we have within us. So, and maybe that's what crystals can help us do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So you want to do a little short meditation?
Sure.
Okay. So why don't you take this rose quartz? So this is what we spoke about earlier. Put this one in your left hand. And then this,
which the left is the receiving.
The hand for receiving. And this is rhodochrosite. This is the soulmate combination.
Okay.
Put that in your right hand. So,
and anyone can do this.
Yeah, yeah, and holding the crystals just adds another element of connecting to drawing in a soulmate, which is what we first talked about, right?
Okay.
So in that, we talked about how soulmates are multi-dimensional in their role in our lives. The romance can be. So we're going to connect to drawing in that partner, right?
Okay.
That partnership that we're looking for. So the first thing I want you to do is to relax, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to do them slowly. So we're going to breathe in slowly, hold it, and then breathe out. So we're going to go ahead and breathe in, hold it. I want you to breathe in love, and I want you to exhale. And I want you to release uncertainty. And we're going to do it again. I want you to breathe in, nice and slow, thinking of compassion. And I want you to exhale, doubt. And we're going to breathe in one more time. And I want you to breathe in happiness. And I want you to exhale pain. And now with your eyes closed, I want you to simply visualize and feel joy, feel laughter, and feel peace. Now I want you to visualize sharing that wholeness with a partner. And finally, I want you to visualize receiving that wholeness back from your partner. And stay with that feeling. Know that it's possible and know that it's coming. And so it is.